Morning. Back out here at the Smithville yard today. Got to do some hive checks. Tall ones we got to check for honey supers, and the short ones we got to check for more boxes and get rid of some of those nuke boxes and put them in bigger boxes. So that's what we're looking at pulling up to the yard. We've got these here, and then we've got some other ones. Supposed to be production hives, but I messed up on those and moved them when it was too cool, I think, and chilled the brood. So we got to look at that and see what's going on with that. But we're going to get after it today and see what we can do. Hopefully add some boxes and maybe even pull some honey. We'll see. All right, today's just a normal day checking boxes. We've had a lot of rain here lately. It's cloudy today, but it's not supposed to rain, I don't think. I don't know what kind of mood these bees are going to be in. But we've had a lot of rain. They're getting ready to get fired back up. We've got a weekend. It's going to be nice, and we got a bunch of rain coming next week. So they need to be able to collect whatever they're going to collect on these sunny days, and we're just making sure that they have what they need to do it, and to make sure the smaller ones are got room to move up and move into bigger equipment. So that's what we're looking at now, and we'll get started. I think I'm going to check my honey supers first and get that part done. This one had 7, 5, and 0. Got 3 supers on it. So 7 in the bottom, 5 in the middle, and 0 in the top. On 5-4, I think today is 5-8. I need to check. A little bit of moisture. Top is glued down tight where they've been in here. Yeah, this top they haven't done much with. Of course, it's been raining. I don't think they have. This isn't heavier than I think. No, it's pretty light. There's some nectar up here, but not much. Next one down has not got much either, I can tell. Yeah, that one's got plenty of room. So they're good on room. We'll leave them for now. Good sunny day. We had them sunny days where they was putting in so much nectar you could have danced a salsa in front of them and they wouldn't have cared. But you get them to them on a cool day like this. It's about, I think it's supposed to get up to 70. It probably ain't 70 yet. And it's cloudy. They're a lot more particular about who they let in the hive. This one is the gluinest hive I've ever seen. They're propolize everything. They're propolizing their frames to the lid. Just trying to tear my equipment apart. I put a wet super on them and they got maybe 2. Not much. 2 frames. Let's see. Let's go ahead. If all the supers are going to look like this, I ain't got to do too much. This one had 3 and 0 on the 4th of May. Yeah, they still ain't got much. So they're not putting in, unless I just find one a fluke. Usually they're all about the same, but they're not putting in much honey. Being as it's been rainy, we have had a little bit of sunny weather, but not a lot. They're working on that one, but they got room. They got probably 3 frames in that one. If I had to guess, that was 5 and 0. That one's probably got 3 now. So it's going to be after this sunny weather spell before we can get to extract any or pull any honey off of this yard. Roach. This one's got, it's probably got 4 frames. I might put a super on that one. I think I will, just to make sure they got plenty of room. You know, the days that they can put in honey, you know, if you've got to have the rain for the nectar to flow. But they, you know, if it's raining, they kept putting in nectar. So the days that they can put it in, they put a lot in. So you just got to be prepared for it. I've seen them fill up 2 supers in a week. You want to make sure they have room, but there's a danger of giving too much room too. And if you give them too much room, they stovepipe, meaning, we could put 3 or 4 supers on this one if we wanted to and give them extra room. But they could also move up into the top super and just fill the three or 4 center frames in all 4 of them. So that's called stovepiping, and the flow is going to end at some point, so you just don't want to have the flow end when you've got just 3 in the middle of each super. I want them to fill up a whole super before they move up to the next one. I don't want to have uncapped honey, a bunch of uncapped honey. I want them to fill up one. Get off me, turd. I don't want them to have uncapped honey that I have to deal with and figure out if it's dry enough or whatever. So there is a danger. I see a lot of people, so super on it. Make sure they got plenty of room. You see people have super stacked well over your head. Well, a lot of times they're mostly empty. People stack them way up, gotta give them plenty of room. But then the honey flow ends and you've got several boxes with 3 frames of honey in the center, and they may or may not be capped. So I don't want to have to deal with that. Dang, it smokes rough. 5-4 fed, pollen patty, and 6 frames. This hive was really building up quick. I even took some frames out of this one and gave to another hive, and they still was going gangbusters. And they still are. This one probably needs another deep. Yeah, they're even starting to put comb in the feeder. I got a division board feeder in here. Yeah, they're going to be ranked today because it's cloudy. And there's a lot of foragers left in the hives. Cloudy like this, the foragers are the ones that sting you. And when they're still in the hive, they're the ones that get aggravated and mad at you and get on your hands and all that. So it's not going to be a great day to check them. But at the same time, I don't want to come out of here when it's sunny and 80 and they're blowing it up, trying to get their work done, and you're in here messing with them. Let's see, I need a frame. I'm going to go ahead and let them draw out some comb, I think. You don't want to slow them down. It's bad in that they're meaner and you get stung more, but it's good in that there's not much they can be doing anyway. So because it's cloudy, the sun brings out the nectar and the flowers. They haven't ate the feeder and they're still trying to put burr comb in it. There's still some sugar water in the bottom of it. We'll go ahead and put the feeder back in there so we can feed them if we want to. Get rid of this burr comb, a little bit of it that's on here. And then they ate all their pollen patty. I'm going to stop this video and find out the date real quick before I go writing the wrong date on here. It is May the 10th. That's way off. 5:10. Time flies and you get older. Especially when you get retired. A week now seems like about 3 days of what it did before. It really goes by quick. Take advantage of all the time that you have and all that you do. Alright, so that one's good. We know it's 5:10 now. 5-4 fed, pollen patty, and 7 frames. They're putting burr comb in the feeder as well. That's a sign that they need more room. And if they got sugar water still in the feeder like they did on that last one, it's a sign that they need it's a sign that they need room more than they need feed. Come on. They're reacting to my hands. It's we need another box. Bet I might run out of deep boxes. I always think I know about what they're going to need, but I never actually do. These are our nukes that we would have sowed had we been selling nukes this year. So they're building up, and they want to go up more than they want to go out. You always run the risk, and you put another box on here, that they're gonna, they've got 7 frames out of 10. Oh, I'm out of breath. Filled up, so you always run the risk that they're gonna move straight up and not fill out those other 3 frames down there. But right now I'd rather have the room and give it to them, and then we can feed them later on, and they can go ahead and fill out everything. I'm not going to put a feeder. I'm going to give them plenty of frames because they need the room right now. Alright, this one's got 2 deeps. 429, second deep, palm patty and feeder. Let's see what they look like. They haven't moved up a lot. We're working on it up here, but they haven't stored much up here. They fixed some holes in this frame. And the queen hadn't moved up. She's still in the process of filling up that bottom box, and this one's still getting worked out. So they're doing what they should do. We'll just put them down as 3 frames on 510. They've got some burr comb at the top, which said I might have should have done this before now, but I think we're right. Need a frame in the box. Might just get a full box if I got another one. And then put a frame down in the bottom, and then put that feeder in at the top. Barely enough room for this feeder in here. It's tight. That's the reason you want to keep your end bars cleaned off on the edges, because you can get the frames tighter that way. Alright, there's 2 deeps. 423, no eggs yet. Go ahead and check these, because they don't. Make sure they got eggs. Last note says no eggs, so we'll just find out. And they're not eating their food very good. You would have thought they would eat more food because they've been stuck in this hive with all the rain that we've had. This one just don't have a lot of bees. There's some larvae, but it's it's a laying worker. Multiple eggs per cell, and I got raised brood, so I don't have any need to go any farther with that. So we're going to add them to these last 3 that we checked. Get off. But we're only going to add a frame or 2 each, so they don't take over. As long as you add them. I don't ever do anything with a laying worker hive. I've tried everything, and you just waste your time. So I quit trying. So I just add them to other hives in small amounts. I'm going to add 2 frames. And then this queen that's in here will take over and show them who's boss. Ow, turd. I put my finger on that bee and get it. Sometimes a hive just needs more bees. You know, we do a lot of stuff. Sometimes they line out their own problems, and they do better with just more bees. And putting a few frames in there from a laying worker could really help them. More than we know. They're pulling, this is a sheet of foundation. They're pulling it out pretty good. There's cat brood all over that other one. So I'm going to leave that one and then put 2 in from And this outside, these are just foundation sheets. But yeah, this is all I do with a land worker hive, is I just distribute the frames between hives. I just make sure that I have more frames of bees from the good hive than I'm putting in there from the bad hive or the land worker hive. So that's the only thing I watch for. And they always do good. This hive will do better now that these frames and bees are in here. Get off. Get off, I told you. I told you once what I gotta do. Alright, this is the last frame from the land worker hive. So it wasn't much, and we've got them evenly distributed. Alright, takes care of that. 9 frames, I added 3. This one should be ready for another box for sure. And they are. I can, on these shallows, need another deep frame in there. On these shallows, I can go ahead and put, it needs another deep on it really, but it's a management technique on how, if you're needing bees or honey more. And I could use more honey, so one way I can get it is to start managing this colony as a single brood management system. So I can put this, what I'll do is put this shallow on the top, let them come up and start raising. Get off. Raising brood in here in the shallow. Move slow. And once I start getting brood in the shallow, then I can shake them all down in the bottom, make sure the queen's in the bottom, put a queen excluder on, and put the shallow back on, and the nurse bees will come up to nurse the brood that's in this shallow box. And when they bees hatch out, they can't, their queen is down below the excluder, so they can't do anything with it other than fill it with honey. So it's a way that I might be able to get some honey early off this hive. So it's another management style, depending on how much honey, if you need honey more or bees more, on the way that you do it. Let's see. I'm gonna take I can't put a feeder on there now because I got shallow frames. So that one will stay the way it is. But yeah, you want them to, everybody says, well, it's queen excluders or honey excluders, and you hear all this stuff about how good queen excluders work. And if I put a queen excluder on there right now and expected those bees to just come up out of that bottom box through the excluder into the top box, even though the top box has a drawn out comb, they're going to be, if they do it at all, they're going to be slow to do it. So by leaving the excluder out now and having them put brood up there and then shaking them back down, they'll definitely come through it for their brood and to nurse, feed all that larva. They'll definitely come through it, and they get used to coming through it. Then you can start adding supers, and it's like it's not even there, so it works good. Nothing to keep them from keeping her coming up through there to add the brood, lay eggs in those cells. She is free to lay. The smoker's burning out. This next one is a swarm I brought over here this morning. It swarmed in a tree at the house. There was a bunch of bees in it. It was cool this morning, so they were still in the hive. I was able to go ahead and grab them, put a strap on them, and bring them over here. So this is a second trip to Smithville today. But it's all right. It's not far. I always keep a bag. I've got a big pine tree there in the side yard, and I always keep a garbage bag full of pine needles that's dry in my truck. It's been raining for a few days, so they're soggy. If I'd have tried to get them out there today, they wouldn't burn. But they work real good. Works good, lasts a long time. All right, now we're fixing to go into that swarm and see what they look like. I have not been in here since I put the swarm in the box. I laid a sheet out on the ground and just shook them out right there on the sheet, and they climbed in the box. And they're doing good. I see a lot of capped honey. I don't know if it all is. We got some new frame. I think I put foundation up here. Swarms draw out foundation quicker than anything. Oh, and she's going crazy. All kind of eggs. Got the honey band at the top. That white band of honey. At the top of that frame is the queen. Won't go over it. All kind of milk brood. They're doing good. Super good. I'm gonna give them a little more time. We just moved them. I could put another. It's a little bit early. It won't be long. They'll be ready for a honey super though. They're probably due. We could probably put another box on here. They've already had some burr comb we scraped off last time. We might put a super on here too. Another one for the single brood management system. Josh would be so proud. For single brood management system. Single brood management. SBMS. I'll never remember what that stands for. Just so you know. Alright, now I can get the lid off this one. Maybe. Feeder's empty. Which is good. But the frames are not full, which is bad. They got some burr comb, which is good. What to do. I'll go ahead and give them a super too. Another super. We've got a migratory lid down there now. It would work a lot better here. After that good acronym. SBMS. That's what we're doing, Josh. SBMS. Single brood management system. So that should get us a little more honey having these extra supers on there. Doing it in this way instead of adding a second deep will give us a little more honey, so that'll be good. SBMS. Too cool for school. Alright, this one transferred to a nuke on 429. Looked to be all honey. This might be overdue too. It ain't overdue, but they could use, we'll put a super on there. Make sure all my frames are sitting down in there good. That ain't the heaviest hive I've ever seen. Yeah, it's moving around a little bit. It just ain't sitting level. It's pretty heavy. Alright, this nuke has got to be done something with. And they look, I don't know, they're heavy, but they don't look like everything's perfect. So we just find out. You know, I see a lot of people online say, you know, they'll show the front of a hive, or they'll open it up and show the top of a hive and say, what's wrong with my hive? Bees ain't flying. I want you to diagnose it with, they're angry. I want you to diagnose it with just looking at the front or at the top. You can't find anything out from that. The only way to find out what's going on with the hives is to actually get in it. There's a lot of beekeepers out there that's new or otherwise, it's afraid to get into their hives. This one just ain't doing, it's got more bees on that side. Ain't doing much of nothing. But yeah, you got to get in a hive to tell what's wrong with it. And you got to look, you can't just look at a couple frames either. They'll put a picture of one frame on a 10-frame hive and say, what's wrong with it? They've tried to raise another queen and have failed. I see some larvae down in there. I'm looking for eggs. I don't see any eggs. I think this one's going to be a combined too. This swarm trap was at the house. I just brought it up this morning when I brought that other swarm. I get my screwdriver, which I remembered this time, or my drill gun, and open it up and I check it out. Been watching them. They've never been really all that active. They'd have bees in there the whole time. And they've got 3 frames of bees, which would account for some of that. Oh dang, now I need a nuke deep and I don't have one. I might put them in that. Well, I can't do that. Yeah, I do have a deep. We just caught us a small swarm or an after swarm. Apparently. There's my queen. Seems to be doing alright, so I think I'm going to try to go ahead and mark her. Get the wife's paint pen I ain't supposed to have back out. She done went on the back side. Alright, got the queen marked. Get rid of that burr comb. They probably need to, I don't know. This box might be too big for them, but I need to add some from another box too. I know where the queen's at, so I don't have to worry about losing the queen. They've just destroyed this room. They haven't really taken off that great. I'm afraid to put too many of these in here because I don't want them overrunning that queen. I'm going to go ahead and put 2 in here. It might not be the right thing to do, but that's what we're doing. And then if I come across another hive I can steal from, I'll steal some out of it. I don't want to put any more than 2 in there though. Those other 2 will go on the top of a deep box that needs it. This is my nuke that looks so good. And they're full. See if I can pull the frame off the outside. Alright, so these bees will definitely not overrun this hive because they're packed. They got some ants on there. But they would definitely help out the hive too with more bees. So that'll be good. And the more I look at that, the more I'm thinking putting a honey super on there, and I've got a bunch of them, so that's what I'm gonna do. The wife's pen back. Nice pretty yellow super on there. Today is Friday. Today's gonna be, they'll be bringing in stuff today and tomorrow on Sunday for sure. So now that I have more room to put it, I think they'd have been alright, but this ain't gonna hurt anything. Get me a stick. Alright, that was good. Our laying worker nuke is gone. Our swarm trap is taken care of, and in a hive, small as it is, need to add some more frames to it. I try to never leave frames out of a box. I've got a suspicion or a desire to come back to this hive if I can find some frames from another box and put some frames in there from something else. But I can't. If I leave frames out, I'll forget all about it, and then I'll come back to a mess, and I don't want that. So I'm gonna give them plenty to mess with. Now I've left some feeders down here, so I'm gonna grab one of them and put it in here. Gotta go get me some more sugar. I bought 25 pounds of sugar and I've used it all. About time for some more. Alright, this was all foundation, and they've got just about all of it drawn, and the feeder's empty. And they're feisty, but they're doing good, so that's okay. Let's see, I need to add a super to that. I don't know what I'm doing. Alright, so that hive's looking good. I added 429, I added second deep from the nuke that had no queen. Oh, so it's got we just combined them, and the top one didn't have a queen. You can usually tell if a hive's accepted the split by how well they're doing and what's going on in the hive. And this one is doing super good. Feeder's empty. So I think they've combined okay. As long as they don't start stinging me up, well, I'll be happy. Pollen. And then a ton of cat brood. So they're doing really good. That addition of this other box and extra bees really helped them. Quit. Calm down. Good time messing with you today. They've got enough cat brood in there. I'm gonna go ahead and put on a honey super. You gotta watch how much cat brood they've got. If they got a bunch of cat brood, they're fixing to have a emergence or a hatch or whatever you want to call it. And when all those bees come out, one frame of cat brood will be 3 frames of live bees when they come out. So there's not enough room for all those frames that's capped in here for them to fill up 3 frames each for each frame of cat brood. So they need another box. And since I got 2 already, it's definitely be a super. So we are getting to add some supers after all, which is a good thing. Just not in the way that I expected. So as long as this flow holds up and we get enough dry weather, you never know. Everybody says, oh, this is a great year. Well, you know, the flow could shut down and stop, and we could be done already. We might have all the honey we're gonna get this year. We just don't know. Beekeeping, you never know. So you got to be ready for the flow, but nothing's promised. So I got things out here if I need it. I'm good on this side of the yard. I'm still gonna go check that other yard. I'm probably gonna do another video about that and go ahead and stop this one here. But we were able to add some honey supers, but just not on the production hives. The build-up hives are building up enough where we could add some supers on them. And then with a little bit of a single brood management system, that's BMS, we can get off. We can hopefully get some honey out of them hives. So this is honeybee management. This is what we do. We look at what we need and what you want, how you want to do things. Everybody does things different. We're going to need the extra honey that I think those smaller hives will provide. And I don't know. I hope the flow keeps up the way it's been. It's early, so you know this should be the peak of the nectar flow right now. But We may have had it early and be done with it, I don't know. Last year we had a dry spell for about 3 weeks and then they started off again. But clover's already kicked in too, so I hope they fill everything up and do good, but you're just never promised that in beekeeping. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and I'll see you on the next one.